The studio lights of The View burned brighter than usual that morning. There was an unmistakable electricity in the air, the kind that made producers nervous and audiences lean closer to their screens. Adam Sandler, Hollywood's beloved funny man, had arrived with his usual grin, ready to promote his latest film. A surprisingly serious drama that critics were calling one of his best performances yet. Before we dive into this incredible story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what you think really caused Adam Sandler to completely lose it on live television. He sat down, relaxed, charming as ever, expecting an easy conversation. But the smile on Joy Behar's face wasn't the warm welcome he was used to. It was sharp, calculated, and it carried a storm behind it. "So, Adam," Joy began, her voice smooth but edged with steel, "I have to ask about this sudden shift to serious acting. Are you finally admitting that your comedy career has run its course?" The question landed like a slap. The room fell quiet. Even the audience seemed unsure whether to laugh or hold their breath. Sandler's smile faltered for the briefest moment before he caught himself. "Well, Joy," he said carefully, "I wouldn't call it sudden. I've been doing dramatic work for years. I love exploring." But Joy cut him off, leaning forward like a hunter closing in. "Let's be honest. Your last few comedies were panned by critics. Total box office flops. Are you just trying to save what's left of your reputation?" A murmur rippled through the audience. The other hosts exchanged uneasy glances. Whoopi Goldberg shifted in her seat, clearly sensing where this was heading. Adam's expression hardened slightly, though he stayed composed. "I think my fans would disagree," he replied calmly. "My movies connect with people. That's what matters to me." Joy gave a scoffing laugh. "Connect with people? You mean connect with 12-year-old boys who think fart jokes are genius?" Her voice rose with each word. "When was the last time you made something actually intelligent, Adam?" The crowd stirred uncomfortably. This wasn't witty banter. This was an ambush. Adam's jaw tightened. "Joy, I'm not sure why you're being so hostile," he said. "I came here to talk about my new film. It's about family, loss, love. I thought we could discuss that." "Oh, we can discuss it," Joy snapped back. "But let's have an honest conversation. Your so-called dramatic performances, they're just your usual shtick, only with fewer laughs. You're not fooling anyone." The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Even the production crew was frozen. Adam inhaled slowly, keeping his cool. "You know what, Joy? I've been in this business for 30 years. I've made movies that have brought joy to millions. If you want to tear me down, that's your choice. But I won't let you disrespect my fans or my career." Joy laughed, sharp, dismissive. "Personal reasons? Please, this isn't personal, Adam. This is about calling out mediocrity when I see it. You've been coasting for decades." Adam raised an eyebrow. "So comedy isn't art now? Entertainment isn't valuable? My movies employ hundreds of people. They bring families together. They make people laugh when life gets hard. That's valuable." Joy rolled her eyes. "Spare me the noble speech. You're making cheap schlock and calling it heartwarming." This time, Adam's patience cracked just slightly. "You want to talk about taking risks?" he shot back. "Every time I make a movie, I risk failure. I put myself out there for people like you to judge. You want to know the biggest risk? Sitting here with someone who's supposed to be a professional interviewer and getting ambushed instead." The room went dead silent. Joy's smile vanished, replaced by a cold glare. "A vendetta?" she said softly. "Or maybe I'm just someone who's not afraid to tell the truth about Hollywood's golden boy who never grew up." Adam leaned forward, his tone dangerously calm. "You know what, Joy? I've tried to be respectful, but you clearly came here with an agenda. So let me ask you something. What exactly have you contributed to entertainment? What joy have you brought to people's lives?" Joy's face flushed bright red. "Excuse me? I've been a professional broadcaster for decades. I've won awards." Adam didn't flinch. And yet here you are, using your platform to tear down someone who's only tried to make people happy. You want to talk about taking the easy road? Try hiding behind a desk every day, throwing stones at people who actually create something. The audience gasped. The other hosts were frozen in disbelief. Sonny Hostin tried to step in. Maybe we should take a break. No, Adam interrupted, his voice sharp. Let's finish this. Joy started it. Let's see it through. Joy slammed her hand on the table. Your life's work? Making the same movie over and over with your buddies while laughing all the way to the bank? That's not art. That's a scam. Adam rose from his chair, visibly furious now. A scam? His voice echoed through the studio. I've never promised anything but entertainment. People come to my movies to laugh, to escape, to feel good, and they get exactly that. Can you say the same about this show? Do people tune in to watch someone get ambushed and humiliated? Joy shot up too, matching his anger. People tune in for honesty, Adam. They expect tough questions, not sugar-coated celebrity fluff. Adam laughed bitterly. You call this journalism? This isn't journalism, Joy. This is a hit job, and everyone watching can see it. The studio's energy was explosive now. Crew members motioned wildly off camera. But neither of them was backing down. Whoopi finally intervened, her voice trembling. All right, both of you, calm down. This is getting out of hand. Joy turned to her, snapping. Out of hand? What's out of hand is pretending mediocrity deserves praise just because it makes money. What's out of hand is giving platforms to people who offer nothing meaningful to culture. Adam's eyes blazed with fury. Nothing meaningful? You want to know what's meaningful? His voice cracked with emotion. A mother wrote to me last month. Her son has autism. She said my movies are the only thing that makes him laugh. That's meaningful. That's real. The audience fell silent again, some visibly moved. Joy sneered. Please, one touching story doesn't make up for decades of childish nonsense. Adam's voice grew louder, trembling with emotion. You know what's childish? Sitting here tearing people down for sport. You know what's nonsense? Using your position to make others feel small instead of lifting them up. The camera operators didn't know where to aim. It was chaos wrapped in silence. The atmosphere was suffocating. Joy leaned in, her tone low and venomous. At least I'm not a grown man acting like a 12-year-old for millions. At least I have some dignity. That was it. The final spark. Adam's face turned red as he exploded, his voice booming across the set. Dignity? You want to talk about dignity? You sit here every day gossiping, spreading negativity, tearing down anyone who dares to succeed. And that's your idea of dignity. Joy tried to speak, but he kept going, years of pent-up frustration, pouring out all at once. You've never made anything. You've never risked failure. You've never stood up and tried to make someone smile. Not once. And you want to talk about courage? Real courage is choosing to bring joy into a world that thrives on tearing people apart. The studio was frozen. Every camera, every eye locked on the man who had just turned a talk show interview into live television history. The tension in the room could be felt through the screen. Every breath, every flicker of the camera lights, every quiet shuffle of the studio crew added to the chaos simmering beneath the surface. Adam stood there, no longer just a guest promoting his movie, but a man who had been pushed far beyond his limit. Joy's lips curled into a thin smile. You're overreacting, Adam, she said with a forced laugh. Let's not turn this into a pity party. That was when something inside him snapped. Overreacting? His voice thundered through the studio. You spent the last 20 minutes trying to destroy my career on live television. And I'm overreacting? The crowd was silent. Even Joy's eyes widened a little, but she didn't speak. You want to talk about real people, Joy? Adam continued, reaching into his jacket pocket. His hands were trembling, not from fear, but from anger mixed with pure heartbreak. He pulled out his phone and began scrolling rapidly. Let me show you what real people have to say. The studio audience leaned forward, every camera zooming in. "Here's from Jennifer in Ohio," he read, his voice unsteady but powerful. "She says my movies helped her get through her divorce. She said she laughed for the first time in months watching grown-ups with her kids. It reminded her that life can still be good." Joy opened her mouth. "Adam, I don't think—" "Oh, it's absolutely necessary," he cut her off sharply. "You wanted honesty? Here it is." He scrolled again, voice trembling with emotion. "Here's one from Michael in Texas. He says he watches my movies with his father, who has dementia, and they're the only thing that still makes the old man laugh." A few gasps escaped from the audience. Someone could be heard softly crying in the background. The camera caught faces. People visibly moved, their hands over their mouths. Adam's voice cracked slightly. "Still think my work is meaningless garbage?" Joy's eyes darted away. The defiance that once filled her expression was slowly draining, replaced by something that looked like guilt, or maybe shock. He wasn't done. Not even close. "Here's another one," Adam said, scrolling again, his tone growing stronger with each word. "Sarah from Michigan, a single mom working 2 jobs. She said my movies help her unwind after 14-hour days. She said they remind her that it's okay to laugh, that being silly isn't weakness, it's survival." The room was no longer a talk show. It was a stage for truth. Every word was landing like thunder. "You sit here in this comfortable studio," Adam said, his voice rising again, "making 6 figures to criticize people who actually create. But out there in the real world, people are struggling. People are hurting. People need something to smile about." He took a deep breath, his eyes locked on Joy. "And if my dumb, lowbrow comedies can give them that, even for a few minutes, then I'm proud of every single one of them." The crowd broke into applause, not loud at first, but growing with every passing second. The camera caught tears, nods, people whispering to each other. Even Whoopi Goldberg's eyes were glassy. Joy finally spoke, her voice smaller now. "I'm not saying people shouldn't enjoy entertainment, Adam. I'm just saying, as artists, we have a responsibility to challenge ourselves, to make something with substance." Adam stepped closer to the desk, his presence commanding. "Substance," he repeated, his voice heavy with emotion. "You want substance? I'll tell you about substance." He pointed at his phone again. "Substance is a kid with cancer, laughing at one of my movies and forgetting about his pain for 2 hours. Substance is a family sitting together, sharing joy instead of arguing. Substance is a mother who finds hope in something as simple as a joke." Joy looked away, her expression tight, almost trembling. Adam's voice softened, but it carried even more weight. "You know what doesn't have substance, Joy? This interview. This attack. This obsession with tearing down people who are just trying to make others happy. You could have heard a pin drop. The silence wasn't empty. It was thick, emotional, alive. It was the sound of the entire studio realizing they were witnessing something raw and real. Joy finally spoke, her tone shaky. "Maybe we just got off on the wrong foot. Adam's laugh was low, disbelieving. "Wrong foot? Joy, you came in here swinging from the moment I sat down. You didn't want an interview, you wanted a takedown." He straightened, his voice now calm but fierce. "But you failed, because I know who I am. I know what I've given to people. And I know that tonight, when I go home, I'll sleep peacefully, knowing I made someone, somewhere, smile." Then, in a moment that would be replayed millions of times online, Adam turned directly to the camera. His voice, steady and filled with quiet conviction, carried through every living room watching that day. "To everyone out there who's ever been told that their joy doesn't matter, who's ever been made to feel stupid for liking something simple or happy, don't let anyone take that from you. Life's hard enough. Don't let people make you ashamed of what makes you smile." The audience erupted in applause. Some were crying, some were standing. Even the camera crew clapped softly. Adam turned back to Joy, his voice steady but sharp as glass. And Joy, I hope someday you find whatever it is you're looking for. Because this, he gestured around the tent studio, this isn't it. Hurting people isn't it. He took one last look around the stunned set, then walked off. No dramatic exit music, no cue from the producer, just silence. The camera caught Joy's face as she watched him leave. For a brief second, her expression shifted. Not anger, not defiance, but regret. Maybe even shame. The screen cut to commercial, but the damage was done. The clip would explode across social media within hours. Millions of views, countless debates. Some sided with Joy, calling her brutally honest, but far more sided with Adam, praising him for standing up, not just for himself, but for anyone who's ever been mocked for finding happiness in the simple things. That day, the interview became more than television. It became a lesson, a reminder that behind every celebrity is a human being and that even the kindest souls have their breaking point. It showed the world that passion and authenticity can silence cruelty. And in that studio, for one unforgettable moment, Adam Sandler proved that joy, real joy, will always fight back,